Another belt video for you. Today I'm talking about the Indestructibelt. And before I get into talking about this belt, let me give you my standard belt video, primer, public service announcement, and the short version of that being, if you are going to buy a belt and wear a belt to carry a gun or to carry any type of load, or you just want a belt that's going to last a long time, get yourself a quality belt. And here's the belt I always show. This is the belt I bought from Express way back, probably 10, 15 years ago. And this is the belt that I wore in my concealed carry class. And I thought this was a stiff belt. It seemed like big, thick leather. Turns out I can ball this belt up in my hand and it is quite not a stiff belt. Fine belt for holding up your jeans, but for holding up a gun long term, this thing, as with normal leather belts, will bow and sag and stretch and it will kink, and it's just not a good belt for anything load bearing. So there is my little public service announcement there. Buy yourself a good belt. After I realized that I didn't have a good belt, I bought this leather DeSantis belt, and I've had this belt for a while now. And over time, with wearing my holster, this belt has developed quite a bit of wear to it, both on there from the holster going on and off, and then on the inside here, where it's stitched, this is starting to fray a lot. And so I finally decided I needed a new belt. I bought a new leather belt, which so far is holding up well since it's only a month or two old. And then the folks at Indestructibelt, also from Daltech Force, contacted me and said, hey, would you be interested in reviewing our belt? And I said, absolutely. I'm always happy to check out new stuff and new belts. And so they sent it to me. And here it is. I'll put a link to their website below. There's two options for the website. There's the Indestructibelt.com website and the DaltechForce.com website. There's a couple different options on both of them. They also sent me a discount code, so if when you purchase your belt, I'll put the link or the code below, IBELT16, put that in, you'll get 10% off on your order. Prices on these, they range from $44 to $59 or $45 to $65, essentially depending on the belt that you get. And the options, there's this one. Let me take it off and show it to you. On the Indestructibelt website, there's three options. There is the everyday carry belt, which is this. There is the dress belt, which this belt is 1.5 inches. The dress belt is 1.25 inches with a matching polished keeper. And then there is the no scratch belt. So if you're something like an auto detailer, or I know the people in the oil change places wear them, where you're bumping up against things and you don't want to scratch cars or other things, there's a belt that just has a hook and loop closure, no buckle, and that's only $45. So plenty of options. If you look at the Daltech Force website, there are even more options. There are brown ones, there are black ones, there are ones with stitching. And so it looks even that much more like a leather belt. Construction of these belts, on the inside, there is a polyester nylon webbing, and then on the outside, there is a thermopolymer polyurethane, try and say that fast, with a leather-like texture. And that's scratch resistant. I've seen some videos where people have rubbed these against bricks really hard, and they do scratch a little bit or get a little bit scuffed, but for the most part, this has a very leather look to it, and the average person is probably not going to tell unless they get up close that you're not wearing a leather belt. And especially if you get one of the ones with a contrast stitching, it looks that much more like a leather belt, so check that out. These belts, because of the way they are made, this is a very substantial, stiff, dare I say, belt. It's not going to bow, it's not going to sag. The tensile strength on these, 4,500 PSI, which my brain, I don't know how to put that into normal, simple brain terms, but the belt has no give to it, unlike a leather belt, which is going to stretch, it's going to bow over time. The belts tend to take the shape of your waist, so they bow down and back. You can see how stiff this one is. Obviously not so much here, but this belt is going to wear infinitely times better than just a natural leather belt. It's stronger than that, not going to bow, not going to kink. You're not going to have the problems with it that you're going to with that. It's not going to fray like this one because it's not stitched. The buckle is sewn in, unlike, again, the leather belt where it's just stitched in, and that's going to increase the strength of the buckle. So that's going to be a lot stronger there. And then also, if for some reason you wanted to or had to change the buckle, you could take that off as well. You just unscrew these and swap out the buckle. One of the other interesting things with this belt is that the holes on it are sized 3/4 of an inch apart as compared to normal belts, which have holes that are sized 1 inch apart. And this comes into handy because sometimes your waist is not always the same size. And this can depend on the pants you're wearing. Sometimes you wear thicker pants. Sometimes you tuck a thicker shirt into them. Sometimes you ate a little bit extra. And I find that sometimes with belts that have holes 1 inch apart, I'm just a little bit between holes. Sometimes one a little bit too tight, a little bit too loose. So this is nice that it's just a little bit more adjustable. With this belt on, it is very substantial. I keep using the word substantial, but it's not going anywhere. It's very stiff. Put a gun on it and it's going to hold it no problems. Gun's not going anywhere. You need to draw it. There's no play in the belt. It's going to hold whatever you need it to. I've seen some reviews of this where some cops talk about they carry their duty weapon and some other duty stuff, and no problem. The belt is not going anywhere. It's very sturdy. It's very stiff. So not going to be any problems there. Now on the Indestructibelt YouTube channel, I'll put a link to that below, they torture test this belt. They do a whole bunch of stuff to it, and I've seen some other videos that do that as well. I'm not going to reproduce that here because this belt is going to take far more than your body can handle. Your body hopefully is not going to be run over by a truck, but this belt can, and it's not going to kink, it's not going to bend. Your body will hopefully not be subjected to an acid bath, but this belt can. Your body hopefully won't be frozen in a block of ice, but this belt will maintain its resiliency and flexibility at any temperature. Your body may be subjected to some mud and dirt and salt water and sweat, and of course the belt can take that, and if the belt gets dirty, all you need to do is take a warm, wet, soapy water, washcloth, and just rinse it off. Just pull it, clean it off, and the belt is essentially back to new. So again, I'm not going to reproduce those stuff here because this belt's going to take far more than your body can. You can pull trucks with it, you can dock boats with it. It's just the tensile strength on it is so strong that you can do a whole bunch of stuff with it, and the belt is not going to have any problems. The belt is made in the US by US workers. Always appreciate that. And it comes with a lifetime warranty. So if for some reason you had a problem with it, they will take care of this. So if you need a new belt and you're looking for something that's nice and stiff and substantial and will last you perhaps forever, check out the Indestructibelt from Daltech Force.